Okay, we are live. I wanted to play a video promo before we get started. So we have a very special guest who we'll introduce in a moment. Here we go. Video promo time. The first online Truth and Freedom Music Festival coming at you at soundpath.org because truth needs a soundtrack too. Happening Labor Day weekend, August 29th through September 1st, 2025. Why are we doing this? To inspire creativity and care to right action. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Telegram. Check out our YouTube, Odyssey, and Rumble channels. Now for our headliners. We have an amazing concert happening August 31st at Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania with 33, aka Derek Rose, Joe Murray from the One Great Work Network, Brendan Daniel from the One Great Work Network, Lady Maverick, Konrad Rogoz, also from the One Great Work Network. We also have our amazing online musicians and artists, Colin Davis and Melissa Mari in memoriam, Tatiana Moros, Maria West from the One Great Work Network, Azim, Tonic for Dogma, Soul Expression, Raging Fire, Soundpath organizer and DJ Awaken Your Mind, Derek Bartolicelli, Theo Luke from nattylaw.com and from soundpath.org, Bea T. Full, Dan Alexander, Joey Phipps, One Great Work Network DJ, Mark Devlin, Elias Clay, Joe Double, Cody Joshua, Devin Braja Waldman, Harriet L. Boldeson, and spoken word artist Chris Youngblood. Our performers and presenters include David Rodriguez, world premiere from One Great Work Network artist Dorian Saracen, Derek Rose, Chris Callahan, One Great Work Network content creator St. John, and Matt and Terry Kibbe. See you this Labor Day weekend at soundpath.org. And my name is Jerry Cavazito from soundpath.org, the Liberation Academy.education, as well as GodIsLoveTruthLife.com. And I am here with my very esteemed guest, co-organizer of soundpath.org, One Great Work Network content creator, truthandlaw.com, This Week in Tyranny podcast show host, and talented rapper, Konrad Rogoz. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And that was a great intro. Whoever was narrating that intro did a great job, whoever that was. Thank you for having me. So you know this already. I'm so glad to be part of this in all of the capacities. And now I get my interview, feeling great about that, ready to talk about everything.
You know what's funny about this interview is you actually inspired me when I watched your freedomundernaturallaw.com. Is that the right URL? Okay.
Yeah. Funnel Conference, Freedom Under Natural Law.
Yes. The Funnel 4 conference that happened recently. I was like sort of vibing to the music, and then I was just sort of like, wow, your presentation was great. And you can also rap. And I thought there must be so many musicians, because I'm a musician too, in our community, our natural law community. So I was like, I just got the idea, like, let's do a festival. Has there ever been a natural law music festival? I don't think there has. I checked ChatGPT. There was no, I mean, this is, and yes, Chris Jansen is in the chat with a that's so
wow,
cool.
Is that a new announcement? I was not aware of this.
Yeah, so Funnel 5 Ignite, spicy, fiery, is going to be in February 2026. Aww, you guys are keeping the fire going. You know what? We're all fire keepers. You guys did it in February. Soundpath is doing it now. We're just going to just pass the torch. That's all that we're doing. There's no ego in this. You know, there's no infighting necessary. Moving forward to showing people the culture that we're going to have with owning our own selves. Take it away, Konrad. Tell us about your recent albums and music. Go ahead.
Before that, you know, februare in Latin is like, that's why February is the month of purification by fire. like on the calendar, it's the coldest month, so it's the driest. But the dryness is what causes these fires to happen. And as you have the Imbolc festival, which is the Gaelic festival, and Imbolc it means like fire in the belly. It's like it's before the actual birth of the year. It is during the spring equinox. That February period is like kind of that hidden fire that the spring and the summer season originates from. And my birthday is February 2nd, so I'm excited about that.
Oh my gosh!
And we are keeping the fire going. This is a thing that's going back and forth. It went from funnel to Soundpath, and now I see that it's going to bounce back and keep bouncing. It sounds like.
Yeah. Do you want to just briefly touch on a general summary of your presentation for Funnel, and also how it relates to the name of our festival?
Yes. So let's do that. So I did a presentation called The Sonic Divorce. Interestingly, my last slide was I made it like the octave. It was 7 slides, and then the 8th one, just like the 8th note in an octave, is the beginning of the next octave. And that one, I remember talking about us, like these natural law content creators. We really are. This is the same common musical profession. The ancient musical profession was not just an entertainer, but it was the poet. This is especially true for the hip hop tradition, which is more so, where I'm coming from. This was the history keeper. This was the poet, and this is someone who is keeping tabs on current events to be able to communicate with the people. Like the original teachers, a lot of the teaching was musical like this. You had to know how to convey things musically to people or speaking to them, the spoken word tradition. So, and then right on cue, after I dropped my 7th slide and that's it. Now you came with the idea not long after that you're starting the next thing, the Soundpath. Before it was even called Soundpath, you were organizing the Freedom Music Festival. And I thought this is perfect. So I jumped right on that. And it's a new thing, but we've still got these common origins. The things that I talked about in this presentation, one thing is about timing. What makes music special is the element of time. You can't escape it. It's any note can be beautiful if played at the right time. And the most beautiful sound would be a harsh sound or a dissonant sound if done at the wrong time. Now, not to throw everything out there all at once, but I was just thinking about this early. Like, where are we all right now, August 6th, leading up to this Labor Day weekend? I get the sense of the collective consciousness right now that while there are great people and we're close with each other, but to get through to people in general, our ability to communicate with people out there, it seems like it's harder than it's ever been. So there's a huge disconnect there, even though there are amazing people doing amazing things. Now, so it's a lack of action that is I would say is the biggest problem, is that there's just not enough action in the world. The second biggest problem I would say is that there's too much wrong action in the world.
Yeah.
And we are just not getting through to people because there is that disconnect, and it's hard to just, like a battering ram, pound your head against the wall and get through to people. You're not going to be able to. And this is where music comes in, because all of these gaps, these fractures, these cuts in the medium where people are separated from each other, they need to be filled in. We need to rediscover that kind of connection. And music is one of these cheat codes of life that can do that. So we need to, so it's about timing. I won't get into timing. It'll be too big of a thing, but I did anyway. I don't need to do the whole presentation again, right? So
we're summarizing. Please check out the Funnel website.
Now, the other thing is, one thing is time, and the other aspect that I really wanted to emphasize is the physical, the actual body, something that is tangible and felt. Now, for anybody watching this, you could watch this, it's being live streamed to you. You're going to see it later. And that is real. That is a real experience that does matter. But that's different than being with somebody in person or really experiencing with them in real time. Music is amazing and we can put it on our headphones and have a personal experience. But when you're somewhere in person and that sound is booming and there's a physical connection between the people being there, that is a real life thing that has, you could feel it. This is why when the bass rumbles, you could hear it from upstairs and downstairs, right? That there's a sonic vibrations. They travel through the medium. They're not really transverse waves. They're longitudinal waves. Story for another day, right? But this all, to make a long story short, causes a musical event to become a catalyst for action for real. Now, when we are going to get there for the Soundpath Music Festival, we're going to have that experience together. Everybody is going to be communicating without the necessity for words because we're going to be feeling the same thing. That feeling right there, that soundtrack to a real movement, that is what we need to get freedom in the world. This is the whole reason I made my final presentation about music. This was the whole point. And now we're going to actually demonstrate it because that's the same thing that it would take for us to, whether we need to pick up our weapons or we need to pick up a pen or a baby bottle, it's going to be to do the right thing for the people we love and for this world to be a better place. It's going to have to be a movement together like a soundtrack. And we're talking about real action now. That's the
Yeah. Mic drop. And we haven't even talked about your rap yet, which we're going to hear in a moment. Tell me a little bit. I've listened to some of your music before you sort of came into a natural law understanding. And we're going to also talk about your most recent album, Rhythms of Discord, which is amazing. And yeah, just tell me about your influences with rap and how you kind of got into it as an artist.
So for you exclusively, you'll get we'll start from the beginning, right? The way this starts out, that I would say music, specifically it was rap music, is the first real colorful memory that I have as a human being. Not literally, but my childhood in Poland was a little bit uneventful. It wasn't until I found something inspiring that was just different. It was more lively than anything I've ever experienced. And this was around 2000, 2001. And I can tell you two or three songs that I heard. And we didn't have a lot of money back then, but we had this satellite box. And I, as the little kid, I was like 5 years old. And my brother, they were around like 17, 18 at the time. So all of his friends would hang out and they would listen to hip hop, which was that was brand new for us in Poland at the time, right? That was, it would be like the equivalent of the early 80s, in America. It was a little bit late over there. So
Right.
Eminem was the thing. And then, of course, everything else around that, this is around 2001. And I would have to be the guy because I was the youngest. I would hold the satellite box down so that it wouldn't vibrate because then it would fuck up the sound. And then you wouldn't hear the music. And I loved it. I was sitting there nodding my head. I used to not know how to nod my head. I nod my whole body like this. So it's
wow.
this energy. So that's how I fell in love with it at first, right? Then I came to America. This is around 2004, 2005. And again, a lot of these memories are just spending time with my brother. He had like a blue Honda Civic. The AC didn't really work at the time. It was the hatchback car. And I thought it was the coolest thing to just drive around at night listening to music. So that's what captured me before I even knew the English language. So this is before I knew what they're talking about. But I knew from the sound that this is something real and intense and inspiring.
Yeah.
Now, the first performance I did, it wasn't really my music, but it was when I was 8 or 9 years old. It was after my communion, and it was like a communion after party. And the kids were doing a little poetry, Twinkle Little Star, whatever it was, right? So I grabbed the microphone, and I knew this one Polish rap song. It was by actually Caliber 44.
Oh, wow.
Is my favorite Polish rap group, Caliber 44. So I did a couple lines, of a song that I knew. And then I guess there was a gap there are a couple of gap years, but around when I was 12, 13 years old, I'm listening to KRS-One. I'm listening to Tupac. I resonated with the golden age. And a lot of that, those people that I was listening to, those rappers, they were my teachers. They taught me with words. Now, this is when I understand the English language more. I listened to them talking about the illusions and the falseness of this world, you know? And they put me onto the knowledge first.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I was a rebellious teenager, I felt all the fakeness in the world. I've always felt it. Like, that's the thing. But I didn't know what to do about it. Right. And then I had to have my own experience where I kind of took the left-hand path. I did a lot of crazy stuff when I was younger.
I did too, man.
Yeah. And then actually, it's interesting because that's when I started to rap. I didn't start to rap until like high school, when we would always just be freestyling in the car and things like that. Around this time, it was the drill music scene popping up in Chicago. So a lot of really the themes of guns, drugs, violence, really dark music. And it was the dark music that I started to make.
Right.
And you've heard some of this stuff. You know, my first 70 songs or so are that. And I still love it. Because that's the thing. I resonated with that stuff for a reason. It wasn't all wrong. I made wrong decisions along the way, of course. But still, that music, it still conveys something that is real about just the reality of living in a world that is not totally conducive to us thriving. That's just the world we're living in, right? And of course, you could hit with the left hand and hit with the right hand. So now I've stepped across that threshold to make conscious music, uplifting music, not just that has an intense sound. It's been very difficult to do because the dark music just comes effortless. I could make you a song about drug dealing on the spot. It's the easiest thing ever. That's why everyone does it.
Right.
But the real alchemical gold here is to make real uplifting music. And this is what Soundpath has really pushed me to do. And it's at a perfect time in my life. And it's just part of my sound path, my journey in becoming who I want to be. Like, really, I want to look at it one day and say, the hero that I needed, I became that.
Oh, wow.
We all needed that hero at some time, but that's the only way we can ever fix things, right? You have to think about the next generation. So through some growing pains, it isn't always the most beautiful, but I started to really get out of my comfort zone and now make songs where I talk about natural law. And often I sacrifice some of that effortless, just that energy to make sure that I'm saying things that are making sense.
I am noticing that there's a visual metaphor happening right now where you have two sort of shadows being cast.
Oh, yeah.
But you're in color in the middle, right? And if you go too far on one side or the other, it's about keeping balance with that divine masculine, feminine, with the right brain and the left brain, thinking holistically. I am so moved by, yes. Chris Jansen says, Balanced Shadow Self. I would like to plug his new book. I go to endevil.life to find his latest book, which I have somewhere in this house. Feel free to, the book that changed my life. I got it. Check it out. Anyways, I'm off topic. Back to you, Konrad. Go ahead.
I would also like to shout out Chris. And at that funnel conference, he did a presentation called Spiritual Mathematics. And I thought that was amazing because I had some of that I was thinking. Of course, I didn't know what he was going to talk about, but that I was thinking about the octave and the mathematics of music and why the numbers, how that it overlaps with our emotions and the physical. And he talked about the tools of the craftsman. And I was thinking about doing this a long time ago, and it's great about the hammer, the level. And so Chris he's on point. He's really tapped into what we're doing. So I'm really glad to uh, have you here. And it doesn't happen without funnel, right? Funnel is absolutely a part of this, which is an awesome thing.
Yeah. I'm thinking about what you said earlier, um, about this idea that in your healing sort of spiritual initiation process, there was a moment where you were reaching out to your future self, your higher self, to sort of like be that um, sort of connecting, um, uh, aligned, balanced force in your life. And I was thinking about what you said also about how music and time are a sort of um, like it's about playing with that, I guess. I feel like that's not the right word, but uh, how Soundpath is an iteration, is the future self of others that came before, like Funnel, Seed, Free Your Mind, the American Revolutionaries, you know, all these like rebels, slave rebellions across history, nameless, you know. Hmm. And it's like we're it. We're the cavalry, guys. No one's gonna save us but ourselves. We need to have this music festival.
Yeah, you're definitely onto it with that. And actually, what I used to I think that the universe is like a rolling wheel. There is a cyclical nature of it. It's like a rolling wheel, right? And say you put a like the letter Q, like you put a mark there, like that is your note, right? If you roll that wheel, it's going to go a certain amount of time, and then it's going to that point that you marked is going to hit the ground. It's going to be at a specific time, and that's what we call getting in the groove, getting a groove. And while we experience the cycles of time, we're not the ones being stuck in a loop and a cycle. We're going in a straight line. We're trying to make things happen. But there's a cyclical nature to life. And it is just like that. When it gets to be that time, we make it the right time. We call it into existence that it's going to happen. And when it's time for it to happen, we are there when the sound is at the same time. That's why the timing is so important. And it is like the American Revolution and other slave rebellions before, like the kind that inspires me is the Haitian Revolution, the
Yeah.
1791 Haitian Revolution. Of course, after the American Revolution, it's not talked about that much, but that was an actual that I may this some historians may say it's inaccurate, but that's the first and only to this day successful slave rebellion, if you ask me. Because there have been other situations that have happened, but it always goes the same way. People choose a king, or they have to make concessions. But there was something special about the Haitian Revolution, and the reason I bring it up because uh, you kind of invoked this. The first song that I made when I crossed that line from just making Khan music, I used to be Stuntman Khan is my name, right? So and then making Konrad Rogoz music, like natural law music. The first song I did was called Boukman Spirit, and that is Dutty Boukman, who is the person that is said to have inspired that Haitian slave rebellion. Apparently, they called him Boukman because he had a Quran. He was, and now Quran or not, what is significant about that is that he was a man of language. It was about words, the book, and they. The story goes that the slave masters wanted him to give the book away. He wouldn't give it up by no way. He wouldn't give it up. So they set the book on fire, and then he was supposed to have all these fire scars, but then he still had this dutty. Where dutty is like Jamaican for dirty, right? There's this book on his side, and that revolution, which of course was bloody, not trying to glorify the Haitian Revolution because it was like a racial massacre. So I'm not glorifying killing or any of these things that happened. At the end of the day, I wasn't there, but the philosophy behind it actually what made that revolution kick off is the night before they had a big ritual. They had like a voodoo type ritual, and then
Yes.
Bookman was very significant. And then anyway, so that is a book that that is a song that I'm looking to do on Sunday live. One of the last ones that I'm going to do, which is going to be difficult because I've never performed that song live. It's very fast, but I'll do it anyway. It's like one of those fast, angry songs. So you will hear Bookman Spirit in Oaks, Pennsylvania on August 31st. And you didn't even know that was coming, but you talked about these slave rebellions. Hey, I didn't say that. You said that.
I did. And check out on the Arc on whatonearthishappening.com. There's a really good documentary that I watched on there about the Haitian Revolution and Bookman. Okay, here we go. Bookman Spirit from Konrad Rogoz. That is your rapper moniker, correct? Am I wrong?
I go by Konrad Rogoz. Yes, you may
Okay.
find myself by Khan, Stuntman Khan, but really I'd rather use my name because I want to point people to the stuff it's just a door down from This Week in Tyranny.
I love that. Okay, here we go.
I heard that one man's voice say nothing, that ain't gonna do nothing. Do what thou wilt, I'm scientific with it. Gunners, my tongue never caught me with it. Telling the truth, they said I'm doing terrific. Dope boy music for real, can't be no dope boy until you flip it. Honor the spirit, switch it. If you're a real man, free your mind, don't be half woke, half woke. They say people don't change, I know you see in mine. Waiting to silence me, you know that there won't be a time. Broadcast live, my rifle on standby, spirit of bookman can't die. Put my government name on YouTube, armed rebellion, then I advocate for it. Taxman knocks on my door, and taxman surely gonna pay for it. Silence is violence, we are enslaved, and I ain't gonna ignore it. Fear death for one man in this world, I'm only a tourist. Live by the principle, call that courage. Won't change up cause next man says so. Left hand path, I had to endure it. I roll with a current that's unstoppable, just wanna get my word in. Who's gonna know that the world is burning if you don't speak up? Can't be pulling the sheets up. Underground transmission, even that won't stop this mission. I refuse this soul transition. Ain't got here to play no games, and I'll be back reincarnate, heart and a feather. You can't make my way, you wanna see judgment day. I'm like, go ahead, make my messenger of creation. Send me to tell you you're worth more than this. Rise up the people of Port-au-Prince, and don't vote for extortionists. Out here earthquakes, they begin directed, steered by heart. 1791 got that spark. They want Waller to start right here, you better have heart. Scholar, you only see the eye on your $1. My woman don't wear no collar, bittersweet like smoking sour. Shows up and down your spinal tower. D-Day, high noon, this is the honor. Got the stem in hand, but this is the flower. Stuntman always navigates this world uncharted. All kings must die, justice finally finished where we had started. I'm sober, live by the gun, rulers getting red carded. This week in tyranny, R-O-G-O-Z becomes a target. Like Bookman and Toussaint, I'll be free by any means. Even by V-O-O-N-D-O-O will be free by any means. Reject all kings, so I won't take the crown like Dessalines. Rebellious signal, rhythms of discord. Who can recreate discord? This one sounds like mescaline. Power, I'm online switchboard, can't cut this cord. No white flags in this war. Cut both hands off and see which one you miss more. Hope you still got that signal. The universe told me of progress, dismal. Chance of stopping this infinitesimal. I'll be like, you will pay fanatics in Israel. Ain't command kind, I got that hook. 4-5 with me, so I got that look. Of self-defense, no less. It's been a long time since I heard someone first. So ain't no way that my rights get took. I will not move, but the wheels they turn. Navigate that, it's on my terms. No other shall say nay, I learned. Rhythms of discord. That means interrupting the signal of quiet slavery. Means getting the fuck up and live your dream. Be real and authentic. Activate the warrior.
Oh my god. Dude, that harpsichord though, with the, like period instrumentation as the production for the song. Tell us.
It's fully produced by Komodo. Komodo's a producer from England. So I did a whole album, eight tracks of just his songs. And he does basically, these aren't rap beats. This is more dubstep, dub, grime. It's different.
Right.
And this is part of the reason I chose it. I wanted it to be Rhythms of Discord. I knew that this song, it's not the cleanest song. It's a little bit, it's almost like a Mark Passio rant songified, right? But that's why I wanted it to be Rhythms of Discord, is now separately from music being this agent of light and connection, music can also be a destructive weapon. And those songs are more so about music being that, being a weapon of war, Rhythms of Discord. This is why I had the burning of Rome as the cover, signifying this empire, this fake empire that we live in, right? I'm not talking about our house, our family, but this is Rome and it is burning. And now sometimes we have to play the rhythms of discord.
Absolutely. And we have a quick question in the chat. Is the album available for sale? What's the link?
So Rhythms of Discord is a playlist on YouTube, and I actually did put it on Spotify.
Cool.
So I do have it listed a few places, but I don't really sell my music, but you can just get it. Now, Soundpath, the album that I'm going to bring to Pennsylvania, I wanted to get a few physicals done as well. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it, but I do throw this stuff on Spotify, and I will just have it as a YouTube playlist. I think that's the most direct. I know a lot of people like their streaming services, but from YouTube, you can still download it as an MP3, or I'll hook you up. Email me, reach out to me, and you'll get MP3s, even WAV files if you want. Because if you want that, that's yours. Or Rhythms of Discord is definitely available. I put that up. Really, that was exclusively for Funnel. And now I'm doing a similar thing is exclusively for Soundpath. I'm going to have probably a 17-track album called Soundpath.
Yeah. I'm just so blown away by your talent. I just got to say that. I just think you're very masterful, going back to the song with your lyrics, the way you're sort of sharing about, figures in the Haitian rebellion, their use of voodoo for that, and really sort of using these historical figures as archetypes for ourselves in the present moment, that we are on the shoulders of all these others who gave their life for freedom. And they're behind everything that we do if we live under natural law.
That's beautifully said. I have nothing to add to that. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I really like this song. What else should we listen to?
If you're playing from Play Hard Labor, it's my favorite from that project.
Okay, and then after that,
no ticket, wick. This hard labor and I'm kicked. You'll definitely be hearing that. I'll run that one again. I enjoy that one.
Awesome. Okay, here we go. Hard Labor from the Rhythms of Discord album by Konrad Rogoz.
Gotta pay the cost, no tick, wick. This hard labor and I'm kicked. Never fit in with the crowd or got into politics. You can tell I'm built different. Trust, it'll be a sequence of events if you touch. Even when the women do it, love. I've been eye to eye with great people, but you would be mistaken if you put another one above. Looking in the mirror, I don't recognize what happened. How I end up in the realm of the lost, so tragic. Yeah, we're all one in a sense, but where I come from ain't none like the rest. Ready for the moment, I can go out like a hero in a blaze of glory or on a cross torch. I ain't come here fuck around, be on posters far from the stars, I don't wanna get close. I'm not that good with talking about my feelings, but my thoughts I can make you feel it. I used to live in a vacuum, bring the bags I seal them. Bring me all the packs I seal them. Hey, hermetically sealed off, death on hold, my EMF field off. Airplane mode, I flow telepathic, another close call, it's a habit. Feelings I can make you catch. When you see me at nighttime, I could be connected to my environment. Hard to separate what's worth living and dying in. Any order that's man-made, I'm defying. Hard labor, I came here to modify the system. Take them down if they ain't listening. Straight demolition. From young, everything resistant. Good times, I don't really miss them. Gotta pay the cost, no ticket. Wicked. This hard labor and I'm kicked. Never fit in with the crowd or got into politicking. You can tell I'm built different. Trust me, it'll be a sequence of events if you touch me. Even when the women do it love me. I've been eye to eye with great people, but you'll be mistaken if you put another one above me. Enough with the gimmicks and with the false image. We just want somebody to listen. Ay, the cause of suffering is thinking like a victim and I'm guilty. Even stomach will admit this. No doubt it's a lot of work it takes to break the bonds fully. In a world of snakes and they always want to grab you down to the level they'll drag. Locked in, don't let them have it. Can you separate the gains from the heavy losses? My bravado decorated with the exhaustion. Fatigue is an honor with honors. I'm flooded if I'm honest. I'm here for the war, I love it. Here for all the heavy lift and hard labor. Terrorize any man existing. No one outside you can handle all the fix. Remember, this is our soul that we're risking. Oh, what a feeling to discover all the answers. Then you can convince them. Truth was never what the after. Truth is I only got myself. I wasn't born to be no second hand. All in, only play the card I was dealt. I cannot gamble with myself. Can't fall, hit the road till the wheels fall off. Self-work always pays off. Gotta pay the cost, no ticket. Wicked, this hard labor and I'm kicked. Never fit in with the crowd, I got into politicking. You can tell I'm built different. Trust me, it'll be a sequence of events if you touch me. Even when the women do it love me. I've been eye to eye with great people, but you would be mistaken if you put another one above me. Trust me.
This feels like really psychedelic.
Yes.
Little like Tame Impala vibes.
Yeah, it's very low-key, trippy sound. It's very watery. This whole, a couple of these songs were like very watery and flowy.
Yeah.
But the theme of it, like that's the thing. It's what we do as creators, content creators, is people that try to fight for freedom. Like it is a lot of hard labor, but the whole point of this song, it's like the culmination of the whole project, is that in reality it isn't hard labor, because this is the most fun. It's like the most fun I've ever had making a song. It's when you actually achieve it, it is just fun, and then the hard work is actually like it's sweet. It's like a fruit, you know. It's very rewarding. So the overlap between those things, I don't know. This is the thing. I have a very like intimate connection with music, and I let it co-create with me. Like this is the thing. So when I see myself getting stuck in the patterns, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna do things differently. And sometimes, you know, as my whole profession is like, I'm a rapper. I'm supposed to convey things. Sometimes you take a step back and you also have to listen. It's such an important thing to listen in being a musician. It's like the most important, the biggest asset you have as a musician is your ability to shut the fuck up and listen, and then co-creating with that. So I learned making this project like I do with all these projects. It is fun, and it's a give and take.
Wow, a lot of thoughts came up for me in hearing you. I was sort of thinking about this sort of black-pilled demiurgic view that, you know, humanity is here in a sort of prison, and that this is like a prison planet or something, and how one can sort of slip into sort of nihilistic path of thinking, right? And how, you know, where does that come from, that view? Well, clearly the person in question is personalizing suffering to just something that's just a part of they're it's like there's no choice. It's like and that is true. We are in a condition of slavery, and it is dire. Um, but then going a little deeper, um, there's a personalization of it as that is what you are, that you are your suffering, that you are defining yourself by that. And the way to transcend that is seeing that there's like a victim warrior superhero sort of cycle in that trauma, and you can be like, oh, f this person, they effed me over, in case kids are watching, or whatever. I do say fuck in front of my kids, though. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I'm very inconsistent. And then I'm like, and then he starts saying it, and then I'm like, oh crap, what am I gonna fucking do? And then I'm like, oh well, I just tell them the truth. I'm like, people are gonna think I'm a bad mom if you start saying that, and I might get in trouble. Like for real. And then I'm like, did I just like traumatize him by saying that? So you're always like constantly like, I'm going way off topic on parenting that has anyway, so back to your song. Okay, so um I feel like I'm rambling and we have a very
How
short
could
time.
it be off topic? You're right on it. This is like, especially rappers, the meaning of words and talking about, like, is there such a thing as a forbidden word? Because censorship is deep at the heart of the musical tradition I come from, which is hip hop. This is created from in its the newest iteration, it's from the streets of New York, essentially a ghetto. And then before that, there was in other places, chanting in the streets. It's always been, uh, it's like it's in those darkest times where a lot of the people are black pilled, right? A lot of people just living in the ghetto, just living everyday life. Right? It doesn't have to be the ghetto. It could be, Chattanooga, Tennessee, the whatever. But people do live this cycle that they do the same thing their parents do, and that is a black pilled way to live. And all of a sudden, this explosion comes, and all this torrent of art, and it's never just the music. The music is always accompanied by parallel movements like the graffiti writers and the break dancers. There's a dance involved. It's you know it's a movement that is cultural, not just musical.
Right.
Now, and when we're talking about forbidden words, things that are forbidden to say, well, that's kind of, you try to put a shackle on somebody's language like that. That you want to have yourself a musical revolution. That's how you do it. So
You're right.
you could say, like, it's off topic in a way, but it's very much on. That's right on the dot. And
That
you
is
think
some
about
old
what's
programming for
forbidden to
me.
say today. What's forbidden to
Right.
say today is all of the stuff that all of the amazing musicians are going to say an upcoming weekend, 3.5 weeks from now. That's going to happen.
Um, I've been under supervision for my parenting lately. So I'm finding myself self-censoring constantly, and it's become an awful old habit that's come back that I didn't have before. And anyway, um, so going back to your music, yeah, this idea of hard labor, it's like we can look at suffering like, oh, I gotta like deal with this and this sucks. I'm like, why? And then, or like, look at the adversarial force as a dark teacher. Like, how hard can you go with self-defense? You know, like how deep can you go with that? And then when you think of it that way, that it's like we're being tested to show how many fucks we won't give, we will still say no to evil. Like that level, like, you know, manifesting different timelines with that.
Yeah. Uh, I'm just stuck on the whole thing. It does suck that. So a musician can say it, right? If I make a painting, I could paint anything. But when it comes to, like, providing a good life for your kids, then people are actually going to hold you to language, and you're shackled in a whole different way, right? Because so many people do have a say because of the state and other reasons, and ultimately your relationship with your children. And then you see the other side of that. It's so alarming that, it kind of does take a village, because there's a lot of, there's so much abuse that goes on in these households. And if it wasn't for a teacher or somebody looking at, who would know? But like, that's not you, but that is, so at the end of the day, that's like one of the most difficult situations, the most difficult questions. And that is where we need to be the most, because it is about being there for our children. And if we don't solve those issues, we are not going to get freedom. So, we can sing and dance about it. We're going to do it. And at the end of the day, the work, the everyday work, it's not just with parenting, right? But it's about relationships with each other, how we treat people, how we model that through our everyday actions. And that is what they're going to repeat. Not if you say fuck, they'll repeat it and laugh, but ultimately that's not what corrupts their behavior. Profound.
Right.
What corrupts behavior is immoral action, usually in the home.
Yep. And anyway, people can read more about it in the chat. So I want to go back to your hard labor song. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this idea that rather than looking at suffering as something sort of more personalized and more instead as a test, a spiritual test to show how much self-defense one can sort of, erect to stand firm and have a boundary, What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, one of the things that I said there is the cause of suffering is thinking like the victim. So it is this idea that seeing it as personalizing the suffering, as you said. When we take ourselves as the central point, focal point, and we take all of the negative stimuli of the world, you can think of the world as a prison, or really like a torture chamber. Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? All of these things that are happening, and like real hardships and injuries that are happening to us. And that's not false. That is part of this world. But to use yourself as the focal point and just stay there is incorrect. That is actually the involution force. If we go back to the Hermeticists and all the stuff that Mark introduced us to, that is the force of fear. Is everything is collapsing inwardly, right? You think about like a flower wilting and going. It's not supposed to go back in on itself and collapse. It's supposed to go out. So yeah, there are negative things that happen to us and all kinds of sufferings and injustices, but our focus needs to be outward, like in all directions, like the sun. And then we can transmute all of those things, because at the end of the day, this is not the way the world is destined to be oppressive, and you have to work 10 hours a day. And by the way, labor, it's a wordplay. This hard labor and I'm kicking. It's about childbirth. Childbirth is not supposed to be painful. It's on every level of life. We have a toxic world, and part of that is things that have been done to us, and part of that is things we've done to ourselves and each other. So all of these things, we have to change the world now. So it's not going to happen just in one lifetime even. So this is what the answer is: to not be black-pilled. Instead of just seeing it here, look outward. And as we look outward and try to do outward action in the world, then around you from inside out, you're building a better environment so that you are not going to be hit with all the negative stimuli. You're going to get positive stimuli, good people around you, things you work towards. And that is how we slowly, like a flower opening up, slowly plant a better world. That's how I see that. So again, you're totally right. You're totally on point with my whole philosophy on all of this.
I had to mute my mic because while you were talking, a very sort of like triumphant, sort of trumpeted song was playing from the clock in the room. It's random. The clock is random. It plays random songs. When I was interviewing Brendan Daniel, we were about to play his song, The Hills We Die On, and that clock played The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love trumpets too. That's exactly my thing.
So that feels like a confirmation. I want to go back to this idea of labor and OMG. We're having the festival during Labor Day weekend, August 29th through September 1st. Check out soundpath.org for more details as the promo that we started off described. So yeah, this song is like you got to sing this song during Labor Day weekend.
Oh yeah, I didn't even put it together. You just put it together right now. I didn't even think of that. I missed it. Yeah, absolutely. Labor Day weekend. You'll hear it.
Yeah. Also, I'm thinking about this idea of um, how slave songs in the sort of more southern states there's like they would use these songs to get through hard labor. It was a salve, to get through the time wasted and spent doing hard labor for and having it be stolen by others. So I'm thinking about music as a genuine way to heal from suffering. And I'm thinking about time, as you said, in general, as a matter of perspective. And when we look at suffering, what is suffering in one's lifetime, of many lifetimes, in the collective of lifetimes, over the course of all humanity? And it's like you kind of, across all, universes and various like different iterations of source, it's like you start seeing suffering differently. Then it's it's a matter of perspective when it comes to time. The frustration may be an impatience with wanting to see the condition change within one's lifetime. And why should I get that? They didn't get that. Those that died before me. Why do I deserve that? I don't. They deserved it as much as the next person who gave up their life, Am I wrong?
You're totally right. And music is the reason why it's transcendent is because when everything else is stripped away, that kind of basic expression can't be stripped away. So you could be literally marching to your execution, and nobody can stop you from whistling. Like even if they tape your mouth shut, it's not the point that it's not even the sound waves leaving you. It's anything. It's a bodily motion. It's just rhythm. Like this is the thing. It's rhythm and time. And by the way, uh, rhythm and timing on a very physical level is if we did more of that, then we wouldn't suffer as much. I'm talking about like in a very realistic sense, like back issues, right? Being illnesses and all of this stuff, disease that we get. We live kind of like a stationary life a lot of the time, right? Or we go from resting after work because we have hard jobs, going to not even stretching before working those 10 hours, and then it's like so there's no dance period, there's no laughing around the campfire and sitting around, because these are healing vibrations. And you could take somebody's physical freedom, but you can never take away the artist within them. And by the way, it's not just sound, right? We're doing Soundpath, but we're not just doing a radio broadcast. It's sound and visual. This is going to be a visual experience that you could see and feel. The point of emphasizing the sound is because we live in such a visual world.
Right.
By the way, there's a lot of suffering that we get because we live in such a visual world. You think about all the girls that are growing up, and then all the images that are projected at them. Same thing with the boys, right? So their future is like attacked before they even get a chance to experience this stuff.
I know.
Because they're being compared to the image. It's all this visual stuff. But that is like the sun in the sun moon duality. And all we're doing is just shining some of the spotlight here where it's neglected.
Absolutely. I know that we're pretty much at time, but I would love to play one more song. Which shall it be?
Yes.
Or-
Do you want to pick it, or are you because
I
you
kind
have
of
a
want to
favorite?
pick it. Is that okay? Even though it's your music?
Yes, you
Okay.
pick it. You're part of this.
Okay. I like Lone Vision. So we're going to play that. Here we go.
What's lonely? Warrior path in a field of cowards, that's lonely. I talk my shit, but I'm trying to speak knowledge only. Keep the ego down, it's me, myself, and not only. Eyes open only. Speaking of which, my vision cleared up 2020. They say seeing is believing. When you see for real, that's faith. Real talk, way more than just believing. Most of y'all are just watching. You can watch all day but not see it. What's vision? Not just looking but seeing, and not just seeing. Seeing just the present but future times coming. Former times leaving. The times keep changing, the pussy stay looking. I got the vision to see the effects of my decision. Choreograph a motion picture from a still image. The dark still in it, more than night vision. Underwater pitch black abyss, great white vision. Under pressure you can see the speed of light different. I got resolve like Da Vinci. Out here laying down my tracks like my timeline just shifted. I take it monochromatic, I get down with black magic. When white was the habit, my vision was clouded. My days overcasted, stub man for crank, I should've been casted. Tweak, constant man, MD, low key. I'm OCD, but I ain't talking about me being on the spectrum. Love for every man that's sitting in corrections. I'm the kill to end slavery, not taking no question. Two eyes converging on one, and then you see. Out here for truth, love, freedom only. One true purpose gets somewhat lonely at the top. To be and not to be, cut the hypocrisy. Real and authentic, I meant it. Ain't no other way that I got to be. Approaching source in my wave life form, but I will choose a door if the light coats are onto me. This world war torn, I rebuilt the stone, and armor was worn from vision to form. Cold as ice in the eye of the storm. I've been ready for war ever since I was born. Seeing outer space, find maneuver space-time. Tool and belt on the waistline, yeah, I be working hard, but it so don't waste time. No other man's vision can't rearrange mine. To the eyes of most, my world goes unseen. Can't even get close, they'll never get high from the illusion they dose. I slave notes, and the ballots and votes, and berets and coats, all the eyes stay closed. Why would it change for some cowardly hope? And the action times comes, they soak, you do what you're told. Ghost of liberty has been invoked, can't see the targets, you don't have my scope.
Lone vision, and at the end you got the scope where you see the world
shit.
through it.
Ah. Man, I wish I hadn't switched the. Sorry about that, bro. I could get it on DaVinci Resolve, which you mentioned in the song.
Yes.
And a little
Resolve.
nerdy how to become the truemedia.com reference.
That's right. And we keep learning. I use CapCut now thanks to Derek. Shout out Derek Bartolocelli and all the other people that have helped us so much, right?
Yeah, I would like to shout out to Joshua Hale from Beyond the Matrix. His website is, oh goodness, I had it, joshuahale.io, beyondthematrix.info. He is partnering with us to help with getting Soundpath to go viral so that we can sell tickets.
New album coming up, Thanks, Joshua.
Yeah, so that we can sell tickets.
But in all seriousness, it's great. That's what we need.
Where Konrad is part of our headliner concert on August 31st at Arnold's Family Fun Center. Let me grab an image file while I talk. In Oaks, Pennsylvania. Let's see here. Is this the one? Yes. We also have 33, aka Derek Bros, doing a presentation as well as a rap set. Joe Murray from the One Great Work Network, Lady Maverick, who I met at Porkfest. She's worked with a bunch of artists, including Diesel Automatic, Steve Grant, etc. Elias Clay, who's also on our online performers day, Saturday, August 30th. We're going to do some sort of meditation, sort of igniting, opening, setting of intentions on August 29th. And then, yeah, everything's going to be on soundpath.org. You'll see all the channels that we have where you can watch the festival. And tickets are right now $33. There may be an imminent change to this. So get your tickets now, because within a week or so, the ticket prices will change, because there may or may not be a surprise guest or two involved. So, little hinty hint there. Okay, back to you, Konrad. Let's talk about the song before you go.
Actually, yes. Well, Lone Vision, I wrote it. I was waiting to get my hair cut. I was sitting in the, not the whole thing, but it was. I remember it was a fun time. Yeah, I think we'll have to leave it for the next interview, because actually I have to run. I got a studio session as we speak.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
I feel like we both got kind of, on a lot of topics. So, I don't want to just leave a cliffhanger, but if you'd be willing to do a interview part 2, we can get into that, right?
What? Yeah, let's do that.
Awesome.
Okay, part 2 coming up at some
Thanks so much
point.
for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.